Holy Wild Card Wednesday. Do we even have a
Hey,
do we even have like a name for Wednesdays or no?
I don't know, you just said Wild Card Wednesday, and then you just retracted it, so I guess we don't.
Well, listen. It's not a dictatorship for the most part. It's a democracy. So, like if you have any other,
Democracy
names or
Wednesday.
Democracy Wednesday, there you go.
There we go.
Democracy Wednesday works.
Hey, I don't look like a ghost today. I think I may have solved the issue. I put a hoodie up there.
I see,
You see it?
I see that.
I don't look like a ghost.
I see that. So, yeah,
But
man, what's going on?
are we live?
We are. We've been live the
You
past
didn't even
like
say we were live. How was I supposed to know that I was supposed to be entertaining?
that was that was like the lead in. Like, do we even have anything ever planned for Wednesdays? No, we just kind of let it ride.
I think we let it ride pretty much every week, every show.
But Wednesdays, it's like, you know, non.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess welcome to a wacky wild card democracy Wednesday. Um, I am, always on time on Wednesdays, Bobby Caboose. As always, I am with Lawson. He can't figure out what to call the show. Turner, what's going on, man?
Listen, Wednesdays can be tough. It's the middle of the week. You're either halfway through it or your week's halfway started. You know.
Hey, you know what we can look forward to today is Whopper Wednesday, 3.99 at BK. Hey, shout out to BK. You should sponsor the show. You rule.
You
Um,
I
but
remember when
I think that's what I'm gonna get for lunch.
yeah, I remember when I'm not saying Burger King used to not ever be a craze, but I remember when the commercials really started to blow up, and it was like every NFL or NBA game for a commercial. It was just that Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Bacon, Whopper, and then it would just keep going on. I
Do,
think
do, 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 do.
at BK,
BK,
have it
have
your way,
your way.
you
You
rule.
rule.
I
So,
good.
I think it was last season or two. I think it was 2 years ago when it was really like every fucking commercial on the NFL was the
Mm,
Whopper, Whopper, New Whopper, and then they came out with like different ones. Well, so by now we Sunday Funday it,
right.
and every time that commercial would come on, we would all sing it and the bartender would fucking be like, "Shut the fuck up!" And there was like six of us that would just sing it like so the entire bar could hear.
That's awesome. The I think it first, and I could be wrong. I think it was the game that Damar Hamlin, suffered his cardiac arrest, where it was like the very
Like,
next yeah, where he died. Um, the genuine next commercial was the Burger King commercial, and it's like, dude, you go from a sad thing or something very unfortunate on the field to just Whopper, 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 and I'm just like, dude, that's the most fun. That would be the most unfortunate commercial to air when something like that is happening on the field.
yeah, no, absolutely. And not to make light about it, but like at least it wasn't like Dahmer, 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 Dahmer. Yeah,
Right.
that was kind of fucked up.
Oh, side note. So every year, you know how they do the NFL honors and MVP and all that jazz,
Mhm.
right? Someone actually gave the person who resuscitated or not resusc I don't remember if it was the person who resuscitated him, but it was one of the first revived. It's crazy.
Responders.
Yeah, the first responder from the Bills medical staff. Someone gave them a fifth place MVP vote that year, which was
I mean,
because for your MVP ballot, it's not all right. Here's a bunch of guys. It's 1 through 5, and you get different points per. Oh, a first place vote is this many. Second place vote is this many.
well, some people may disagree with me, but life is greater than football.
Yes.
I'm not sure if people know that, but
Right.
but hey, I got a little itch yesterday.
Oh no.
Last night I got a little itch. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I got a little itch. And I opened up an app that I haven't opened up in a little while,
Hmm.
and I was like, I got a little itch, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize women's basketball was back. And I was like, oh, USC minus 36.5 against Portland. I wonder how this is going to work out. So I put a unit on USC, and then I was looking at their previous games, and I was looking at Portland's previous games, and I was like, you know what? I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna cash this out before it even starts, and I don't know if I've ever done this, but I cashed it out and I lost $10, but then I put the money on Portland plus 36.5, and the final was 78-51.
Nice. God, we're so back. It's really funny because from so what?
You said we're so back.
We're so back. It's hilarious too for the simple fact of when especially in women's college basketball where all three starters or starting fives or whatever the case may be, mostly there's two, then just a couple,
Mhm.
Swiss Army players, but you could make an argument that like your top 10 teams, their starters and backups are better than everybody else's teams.
Yes, absolutely. And I learned that when I think UConn had like 13 people drafted, and I'm like, what? Like like the 13th person probably didn't even hit the floor. What the fuck, dude?
And they
You're
still
you're
win the
you're
first round,
drafting Darko Milicic.
dude, for real. But yeah, the live betting unders or giant spreads like that is hilarious because at a certain point, and obviously it depends on the sport. At what point
Mhm.
are the points just there's just too many points to lay,
I mean, I've laid up to 88.5 and I've covered.
which
So
which is ridiculous.
yeah. I mean that was shout out to Brittany Griner and the Baylor
Yeah,
Browns or Bears or whoever the hell they are. Baylor Bears? Bears? Are they the Bears? Are
I
they the
think
Bears?
I think so.
Okay. Shout out to them. Yeah, because at halftime I took a live spread of minus 88.5 and they covered by like 90. I think they beat by like
Insane,
94 or something.
insane.
When Brittany was there before she went to jail in Russia. And when she was still in college. But anyway, um, yeah. So yeah, when does it get to, we've talked about that. When does it
Yeah,
get to a
yeah.
point?
I th-
You know,
yeah.
too many points. But yeah, man, for some reason felt the itch last night. Like I said, I never flip flop like that. Yeah,
You
I
had the
did, and
feeling.
it worked. And you
You,
know,
you just had that
um,
feeling.
unfortunately, I didn't max out my bet because I had to cash out, and freaking DraftKings kept their little $10 from me. But anyway,
Yeah.
um,
The last year, what me and my buddy used to do. I'm not in a sport. I said sport. I'm not in a state that I can legally load up DraftKings, Hard Rock, any of that jazz. So I fucking this would be our favorite live bets because last year the Brooklyn Nets were terrible.
yeah.
Like it'd be through three quarters and they'd have 58 points. And we would
Hmm.
go to their live over under and they'd be at like 88, 89 and a half. I'm like, they're not scoring 90 points. And
Right.
so we would love to just get like into the third, midway through the third, and I'm just like, dude, they're missing everything because they were a horrible team last year. And
Joe Johnson not doing it for you.
huh?
Joe Johnson not doing it for you.
No, he wasn't. But it's great that he wasn't because we was hammering unders. We would wait till they got to plus 105, and I'm like, oh, hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but
I was watching the Pistons game last night.
yeah,
Because they're the best team in the NBA.
11 in a row.
You know,
11 in a row.
shit. So, um, I'm watching them last night, and it was the most NBA I've watched all season so far.
Hmm.
And I'm like, man, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, it's finally starting to happen, especially with the NBA. Is that like I don't know anyone anymore. I know like the big names, but
Cade
I'm like, I
Cunningham,
don't know who
Jalen
this fucking
Duren,
guy
you
is.
know.
Um, and it was funny to me because like when I was probably when I was your age or a little younger or whatever, um, I knew like I could at least tell you like every team's starting five, and
Hmm.
now I could probably name like three players on each team, if that.
If that.
Like the
But
Atlanta Hawks, I know Trey Young,
there you go.
and I think Mookie Blaylock might be there, and Dikembe Mutombo. I can name those three.
Listen, as long as you can name three, you should be fine.
Yeah,
Not
I
though,
can
but
wag the
it's
finger.
I can wag the finger. Yeah, but it's really interesting when you and I think we might have talked like slightly touched on this months ago, where it's like eventually as a sports fan when you watch the doesn't matter what league, whether it be NBA, NFL, NHL, whatever, where you start looking across the league and you're like all the faces that I remember watching when I was growing up, they're now gone.
Yeah,
Like a moment, like it didn't really hit me like that, where it's like, oh damn, my era is over. When
right,
like when Big Ben retired, I was like, he's like the last one of like my
right.
like Manning, Breeze, Brady, both Mannings. Rogers is now like the last one, and it was like Matt Ryan, and I'm like, those are the guys I grew up remembering, and now it's
Yeah.
like
Welcome to the club.
now it's like, damn, like there's nothing wrong with the Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Herbert, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts era. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, damn, all the dudes that I could close my eyes and I could remember just watching, like, damn, these dudes are awesome.
Right. Well,
And
just wait until you get to the point where I'm at, where like I know it's completely different, but like John Cena, seeing like his debut up
mm,
until now, and now he's retired, and you're like, damn, the 20 years went by really, really quick.
dude, fucking, it's hilarious because once again, I remember when I was a youngin, like Randy Orton was my guy, and now he's one of the old guys now. And I'm like, damn, dude, I remember like when you was bald in like
Yeah.
2009, and it's like you was just a menace, and now fucking
Like
fast forward.
Mysterio. Mysterio started like 97, dude. Like and now we get to see Eddie's son.
Was that back when he killed somebody?
He did kill someone in Mexico. No, that happened like I think like 10 years ago.
Which is still insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, though, but it's I don't know the whole seeing your era like begin, peak, decline, and end is something that's
Hmm.
like, damn, dude. Or when you see somebody your age enter like the league, and you're like, oh, he's 22 and I'm
Yeah.
24, and he's whooping ass.
Right.
It's just nuts.
It- Um, speaking of getting their ass whooped, um, I saw that Matt Stafford is finally above 500, and
Yes.
people are like, you get the graphic on Twitter, and then they're like, oh, the fucking Lions destroyed his career, blah 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 blah. And I read someone's comment that said like he's still the best quarterback Detroit ever had, and I would have to argue that Goff is because Matt Stafford had never, because people are like, oh, Goff will never win you a Super Bowl. Yet he's got there once, and he's got to an NFC Championship once. And, I just want to say real quick, because I don't want
Mhm.
to spend a lot of time on this, but
Yeah.
did, riddle me this. Did Stafford ever take us to back playoff appearances? Because he didn't. Because he didn't.
I don't know if it was.
Golf did.
Yeah. I remember.
Thing.
Yeah. I was gonna say I don't ever remember if it was back to back. I remember there was the one playoff game in Seattle. There was the one in Dallas, and
It wasn't. I don't. It was.
obviously they weren't back to back years. But I can't
Yeah.
remember. I can't remember if there was a third one or not.
Yeah. There was. It was Seattle, New Orleans,
New
and
Orleans.
Dallas.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, but I just wanted to bring that up real quick because,
Yeah,
but
Stafford.
people are wondering if the Lions Super Bowl window is closed.
Mm,
I think like so okay, Goff is one of the I think Goff is one of the best quarterbacks inside the pocket in the league.
agreed.
You give him time, he can pick apart a defense pretty easily. We proved that the last 2 years.
Mm,
Um I think that's where Detroit is suffering right now is their offensive line. The loss of Frank Ragnow was huge, and then I think they have two new guards too. If they can rebuild that offensive line, I think they'll be just fine. If they don't address it, I think their Super Bowl window may be over.
yeah,
I mean, they're not even a playoff team right now, which is crazy.
yeah. It's kind of like, well, to put it in, retrospective, you're right. Over the past couple of years, for the majority of Goff's career, when you give him time to set his feet, scour defenses, and he'll look like one of the best quarterbacks in the league that he has been the past, almost since he's been in Detroit.
Yeah,
His issue is, and I'm not comparing these two, not career wise or anything like that, because I think Goff is way better. But it's kind of like when you look at a quarterback situation like Sam Darnold in Seattle and last year in Minnesota, where you give them time and all that jazz, and they'll look excellent. But
right.
the moment there's a little bit of pressure, I mean, look at what Sam Darnold did when he had when now granted, over the past 2 years, Sam's been excellent against almost everyone except the Rams the past 2 years. So
Mhm.
I don't know if it's a defensive coordinator schematic, or if it is Sam facing pressure, maybe a little bit of both. But
Yeah,
the thing is, it's when and most quarterbacks that are pocket guys that can't, they might be mobile within the pocket, but can't buy your second and third level plays. The
yeah,
thing that can really stymie them is pressure, especially interior pressure, because they can't step up. They can't step into any
right.
throws.
Right. And when at least in Goff's situation, I think last year he might have been I think he was um one of the top quarterbacks, if not the top quarterback against the blitz
Yeah,
last year. And that just proves like, when your offensive line and your protection, is set correctly that you could beat the blitz and find an open guy quickly.
yeah.
I mean, that's one of his strengths, but yeah, they have to address that offensive line, man. And speaking of teams that you expected to make the playoffs that are outside the playoffs, the Kansas City Chiefs, man. I was thinking about this last night too. Are they just old now? Like, is the dynasty over? I feel like they are just like the old men in the league now, and it's like I'm like, man, I don't know. I don't want to be like, hey, as long as you got number 15 behind center, but like, he's part of aging. Him,
Uh huh.
Kelsey, just the whole regime, dude. I don't know if they, I saw an article that you put out saying, are they cooked? I think they may be.
Dude,
I think they
it's
might.
from someone who has said ad nauseum, do you have number 15 in red? You're gonna be just fine. But I mean, you can't. Obviously, you're not gonna make the Super Bowl every year. There's gonna be down years in the in quotation dynasty, but it arose my eyes where um here's a really interesting nerd stat for you. Over the past 2 years, not including this one, in games that were one score, the Chiefs had allowed two third and 10 or longer in one score games in the fourth quarter. They've allowed four just this year. They were
Yeah,
undefeated in one score games last year, 11-0. They're 0-5 this year. And it reminds me of, do you remember that Kirk Cousins year in Minnesota where they were winning all these one score
yeah.
games? It's kind of
He,
one of,
he had the chain on the
yeah, the Kirko
plane and
chains,
shit.
yeah, the Kirko chains.
Yeah,
The obviously you're not going to go undefeated in one score games every single year. There's going to be a little bit of a regression to the mean. But in that Broncos game, as someone who bet on the Chiefs because I'm like, okay, here's your layup primetime Chiefs spot. Like Mahomes was outplayed by Bo Nix in a big game that doesn't normally happen, if ever.
Mhm.
Um, they had multiple situations within the game that was like, okay, you're up three with the ball, you go three and out. It's tied at 19. You have the ball with about 4 minutes to go, and that is what the Chiefs have made a killing on over the entirety of the Mahomes era. You have the ball late, down, or tied. Mahomes and Andy Reid are just gonna find a way, and then you go
Yeah.
three and out, and you give up a third and 15. That was essentially your ball game. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know. I think that their schedule is not. It's funny because they have shown over like they've had great stretches where they beat the shit out of Baltimore, but then it's like, and I'm not here to discredit Jacksonville, but you lose a game to Jacksonville where Mahomes throws a 99-yard pick six, and that's like the
Yeah.
big difference in the game. So I don't think you can call any game on their schedule remaining a layup other than the Titans game. But they're hosting the Colts this week. Now, granted, best case scenario, it's at Arrowhead. They're a better home than away team, as most teams are. But if they genuinely lose this game and they're sitting at 5-6 in the face, I don't know if 10 wins will get you in the playoffs in the AFC this year.
So this game, I think, because I was looking at this yesterday, and I was like, oh man, the Chiefs are 3.5 point favorites. I was like, that 3.5 looks pretty good for the Colts, right?
Yeah.
Because um, I honestly think it's either gonna be a Chiefs get right blowout game, or the Colts are gonna win straight up.
Yeah.
And I'm leaning towards the Colts winning. Like I don't know if I got in my own head last night or what, but I was thinking about that, and I'm like, dude, like they're, they just the rain on top. It wasn't short like leprechauns. It was, it was,
Mm-hmm.
we have 9 years of winning division title over a division title, but now I'm thinking what came to me yesterday is fatigue finally starting to kick in on these long postseason runs. It's they get to the conference championship or the Super Bowl, it seems like every year.
Mm-hmm.
Has it just taken a toll on these guys? Because it seems like it has, and usually when things like this happen, it happens quick and it sinks fast like the Titanic.
Yeah.
Like, when does it get to a point where you're like, all right, Kelsey, you got to get the fuck out of here because you're slow and you're probably helping Taylor, with some breakup songs, or whatever. And, just when does that take an effect of how many games you play each season and how deep you go into? Because playing an extra 3 to 4 games a season is a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a fourth of essentially a fourth of the season
Mm-hmm.
more, every single year.
It's
Um,
it's just interesting too because like when your star players get older, they can have great games. They cannot have great seasons.
yeah.
Like Chris Jones is a dominant individual game wrecker, but he's having a down season due to the
Hmm.
totality of it, and he's just not as impactful. Like he was a beast against Denver. So was Kelsey. However,
Hmm.
they cannot afford to have three or four awesome. Like example, if Kelsey has this in next year left, I would say he has 3.5 great games left. And I mean games that look like how he did last week, where it's 9 for 91 in a tub.
Hmm.
Because that's a great, that's obviously that's we're used to Kelsey, being in the upwards of that almost every single game in the prime of Mahomes' career. But the
Hmm.
thing is, it's the I think it's the fatigue. I think the Rashee Rice suspension did obviously didn't do them any favors, but you cannot lose the games in which they have lost. They've been un Mahomes esque or
Yeah.
unchief like. Like example in the Philly game, driving all the way down to take the lead, and pass right off Kelsey's arm, pick on the goal line, and they lose that game by 3. In week 1 in Brazil, Chiefs defense has to get one more stop. They can't. Same with their loss to Jacksonville. Got to get one more stop. They can't. Buffalo.
Well, I was watching that Denver game,
Yeah.
and it seemed like Mahomes threw like 4 red zone picks. I mean, I think it was only 2, but like I was just like every time they were driving, he ended up throwing an interception, and
Uh huh.
close to the goal line. I'm like, what is going on here?
It's un-Mahomesy to where that's another great point that I thought about when I was watching the game. It's like it's tied at what was it 6-6 at half, and the Chiefs
Hmm.
getting the ball, and I'm like, okay, this is about to be just an Andy Reid dot dink 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 work their way up, take the lead, and then just not look back.
Yeah.
And then they work all the way down the field to the 21-yard line, and Mahomes throws a genuine bad pick. And so
Right.
it's like, I don't know if it's pressing or whatever the case may be, but something has just seemed off all year long. And it's not statistically like they're a bad team. Like they're still top 10 in points. They're top 5 in points allowed. From a statistical standpoint, it's a good team. They are just not coming through in the games in which that are big on the regular season
Mhm.
because for the most part games in the regular season haven't mattered to the Chiefs other than Baltimore, Philly, Buffalo, but they lose to Buffalo every year in the regular season it seems.
Right. Yeah, I agree because it seems like it just seems like Buffalo takes that game more serious in the regular season than the
Right.
Chiefs do, on a consistent basis. Um, but yeah, man, I just I'm curious if the dynasty is over.
Mhm.
Obviously, like you said, if you have number 15 behind there, you always have a chance. But like even him, like dude, it just looks like every time I watch the Chiefs, it looks like he leaves the field just like aching in pain.
And that's also a mix of when you are as successful as they are during the regular and postseason, like you're eventually drafting in the bottom rounds of every single
Yeah.
round, every single year. That puts so much pressure on your scouting department. And Brett
Mhm.
Veach, Brett Veach is an awesome GM, but the thing is, it's you have to consistently hit on a lot of draft picks. And I'm not saying that they haven't, because picking up Josh Simmons in the bottom of the first round this year, and you've hit on like Trent McDuffie, Rashee Rice in these later rounds, but just not getting those prototypical blue chip players that are okay. They're immediately going to be day one starters. It's like
Yeah.
when Rashee Rice was coming out of college. I think he came out of SMU, or where did he come out of college? Anyways, like, do, did they expect him to be a Southern Methodist? Is where he came out of. Um, but to go back to the original point, do you expect him to, instantly be, oh, he looks like he could explode into one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Mhm.
Drafting Xavier Worthy last year is great, but for some reason he just hasn't molded into the guy that really started to pick up in the postseason last year.
And
So to continue.
it doesn't help that the Broncos and Chargers are much better this year, and they are getting better.
Yeah.
I feel like for a lot of Mahomes' tenure, it was basically the Chiefs in that division because
Uh
the
huh.
Raiders are never good. Broncos had multiple years. I mean, they Broncos haven't had a quarterback since what, Manning? Um,
Yeah.
and then the Chargers just
Just to.
seem to be they're I feel like they're the little brother of the Steelers where they're usually around 500 but they're not above 500 but
Mm,
they're
the
just there.
the thing with the Chargers for so long is they had good roster. Their coaching sucked, so it's
Hmm.
like you bring in Jim Harbaugh and it's like, okay, well, now you have a good roster, and when he can mold this team, and you look at what they're doing, like, yes, they just got destroyed by Jacksonville, and they beat my Steelers, but once again, who doesn't? But like they're missing both their starting tackles, and it
Hmm.
now granted Herbert was completely underdressed over the past weekend, but it's like for all the teams that the Chiefs are chasing, They don't have the tiebreakers against.
Right.
But I mean, at least they still play Houston once again. Indy's a big game. I think they still play the Raiders and the Chargers again, and I they play
Yeah,
the
and
rest of their
they're
division
definitely
again.
not
So
done,
yeah,
but I don't think if they keep the current roster and continuing this way, they're not going to win another Super Bowl anytime soon. I'm
mm-mm.
not going to say Mahomes won't win another one in his career because he's still probably got. I mean, Mahomes what early 30s.
He is
Um,
currently 30 exactly. Yeah.
okay, so he's probably got anywhere from 5 to 10 years left. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't say that. He's not going to win another Super Bowl because that's a long period of time.
Right.
But um, if they keep the same team, they're not going to win. They're not. I don't even think they'll get there in the next 3 years if they have the same roster. And
Mm-hmm.
by February, who knows? I might be biting my words already on this, but um, I just think you know, the last time is now. John Cena.
And now it's the Chiefs, which I don't know. The whole Chiefs thing is really interesting because and I was talking to somebody close, and they were like, you just don't seem as interested in the NFL this year. And I'm like, I don't know what to make out of half the fucking league, because
Yeah,
this is kind of one of those years where everything's just kind of funky. Like
right.
no
The
teams,
Colts.
the Colts are the best offense in the league, led by Daniel fucking Jones. The Steelers are around 500. Baltimore's been down. The Chiefs have been down. The Bills have been up and down. Like the Seahawks,
Detroit's back to sucking ass.
huh?
Detroit's back to sucking ass. The
It's
Seahawks are like awesome. Yeah,
right. It's so funny to me because like there are years like this in the NFL once every however many years where you wake up in week 12 and it's like, what the hell is going on?
yeah. But then get this: in the Super Bowl, you'll get the Eagles Chiefs for the third time in a row,
Yeah,
and you're like, cool.
cool.
Thanks for
I thought we
not
were
giving it to someone else.
cool. I thought this was gonna be the year Danny Dimes, shows out and Jonathan
Yeah.
Taylor rushes for 10,000 yards.
Dude, if I was Danny Dimes, right, and I
Right?
got to the Super Bowl, and you know, because if I'm Danny Dimes, I'm gonna have all the confidence in the world going into the Super Bowl, and I'm like, I'm gonna win this shit, regardless of what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell the pyrotechnic team, I'm sure it's them who put down the confetti. When I win the Super Bowl and when it's either going to be like 56 nothing and I'm going to have like 7 or 8 touchdown passes, or I'm going to lead the game winning drive with like 3 seconds left and I'm going to throw a dime, hence my name, to like Marvin Harrison or Reggie Wayne or someone, Brandon Stokely, whoever, Dallas Clark, whoever you're throwing it to, he's gonna catch touchdown, or I'm gonna fucking Michael Vick this shit, Vanilla Vick, and run like 97 yards for a touchdown and
With
not
three
trip
seconds
this
left.
time. Yep. Instead of confetti, I want, instead of it raining confetti, I want it to hail dimes and just have a bunch of dimes drop from the rafters.
Uh,
And if it hurts somebody, it hurts somebody. But we're dropping dimes.
Dimes with his face on it.
Yep. Well, yeah. And they'll be even worth more.
Mmm. That'd be,
Hey, so speaking of coinage,
oh my god.
coinage? I think
Coin
that's a word.
coinage,
So
yeah.
coinage. So, did you hear? We are no longer making pennies,
Yeah, which is
and
which is nuts
so
to me.
crazy, right? And so they made 232 pennies for 2025. Dude, they said that these pennies
I saw this
might be
shit,
are going to be auctioned off and could be worth like between like $5 and $10 million.
which is insane.
It's a penny, bro. Like it doesn't mean anything.
My
So
continue.
worth is only how much you put as much stock into it.
Right.
It's still a fucking penny. if they're still going to be irrelevant, why would someone pay $5 million for a penny?
I don't know. One of the things that's one of the things that never made sense to me, like vintage coins. I mean, unless there are certain like misprints and stuff like that, I understand those are more obviously you know sought after. Um, every time my mom finds it's like a 1940 something, just going through old coins and all that jazz. It's
Mhm.
there's a specific year where there was just a shitload of misprints, and she was like, oh, one of these pennies might be worth like 3 grand, and I'm like, it's a penny.
Dude, so actually, my girlfriend's father, he had to go through his some of his brother's stuff,
Mm,
and went to he had a security deposit box
yeah,
at the bank, and he had a penny that was worth like $800.
that's
But
awesome.
I mean, again, you would have to like look through all this shit and whatever. You know, it's somewhat of a joke. We might get canceled for it, but you're talking about your mom looking for a 1940s penny. Well, that's World War II. There's probably a lot of misprints because the men were at war and the women had to go into the factories. So there's probably their misprints right there. Just women not used to working, and they're like, "Shit, what year it is it?" Or "What do I put on this fucking penny?" I don't know. Just put Susan B. Anthony's face on it. Um, or whoever.
You said it, not me. But the thing, but
Joke
it.
around here at the Legends Clubhouse.
Listen, it's all teehees.
Haha, teehee.
Ha ha teehee. I don't know. Once again, I can't remember what year. It might have been like a 1940s penny or whatever random year. But and like I don't know the whole. It just the second that I saw that we were gonna stop making pennies, it really just opened my eyes. I'm like, damn, dude, what happened to the world I grew up on? Because like like why are we stop making coins like it's still currency? It's like I love seeing those videos where people are going to like pay their fines and they just have a shit ton of pennies not rolled or coins not rolled up and they're like bam, they're like, sir, we can't take these. And it's like, dude, it is currency. Listen, I'm paying my fines. I would like to go.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those where like I don't understand where these like I understand the stigma slowly, like especially when COVID started to become a thing. I'm like, oh, cash will slowly deteriorate due to
Mhm.
that's how a shitload of germs just are spread in general. Just the the change of cash XYZ, people are gonna be scared for cash.
Yeah.
But for coins and stuff like that, I don't know, cause I guess growing up, my mom always had like just loose change in her fucking in her cup holder in her car.
Yeah.
So I can never not think of a world or country that just doesn't make fucking change, dude. Like what? Like example,
Dude,
what's gonna happen when you go to Subway and it's fucking 1074 for your foot long, and it's like, oh well, here's a 10 and here's fucking 2 quarters. I don't even know who fucking carries quarters anymore. But fucking, it's a lot of people like, here's a card,
you
ma'am.
yeah, you just don't get your like 48 cents change back or whatever. You just don't get it. It's just
Like,
like, well, you
here,
no change, sorry. It's
here's your
like
change,
the kids
ma'am.
it's the kids at the lemonade stand that have the sign like, 50 cents for lemonade, and then someone gives them a five, and then on the back of the sign they say like no change, sorry. And you're like, well, I just spent $5 on a lemonade. Thanks, kid.
You better give me $5 worth of lemonades.
Hell yeah, dude. That's what I when I was back when I was a guy in brown driving around a truck. Um, dude, every time I saw a lemonade stand, I would give. I may always make sure I had some money on me, and I would usually give $1 per kid that was out there. Sometimes there's like five kids. So yes, I have paid like a $5 for a 25-cent glass of lemonade.
And I
So
bet it
uh,
tasted delicious and made with
it did.
love.
A lot of times it did, but then a lot of times I'm like, man, this is way too much sugar, and like now I'm even more thirsty. Um,
It's
but yeah, you
it's
gotta respect the hustle of the kids. So I'm like, I remember doing that, and I live at the end of a court.
yeah.
So like I remember there's like nobody like coming out, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like so like I've been there, and sometimes it just takes one person to be like, hey, here's $5, Oh,
I'll
make
give you a
some
good
money.
story. So we lived near the Silver Comet Trail growing up. It's if I remember correctly, I haven't done my Silver Comet Trail research, but I think it's a countrywide just walking trail. It starts in Georgia and will like it stops in like middle of Mississippi, then it picks back up and it will go all the way across country, right? It's just
Why
a,
haven't you walked this entire trail?
because I'm not Forrest Gump, anyways. And so,
We
huh?
could call you Lawson Gump
Lawson Gump.
or Forrest Turner.
You might be onto something. Anyways, and so um, where we lived, if you took this little trail behind our woods, you would be at like one of the like what's the term I want to use? Like there's a playground, the Silver Comet Trail, couple bathrooms, like just kind of like a
Park?
huh?
A park?
No, it's like a little spot like right off the side. Sure, let's use a park. So fuck you.
I don't
So
know what to describe this. It's got a trail, some playground shit,
sure, park,
some trash
right?
cans. People
Yeah,
are walking their dogs. I
it
don't know what
was.
they call those things. It's a
It was.
fucking park, dude.
Listen, it wasn't as big as a normal park, but it was a teeny weeny park. Okay, teeny weeny park,
Well,
right?
that's still a park. Parks don't have to be. It doesn't have to be a state park to be a park
Anyways,
or a national
so
park.
I wasn't there when this happened, but I was informed of this. My sister and her friend went down to the fucking the park, and they were
It's a
getting
park. Like it's
the
not a park. It's
park.
a park.
So they were taking water bottles, empty water bottles out of the trash can, washing them out with water, filling them up, and selling them to walkers on the fucking Silver Comet Trail, and they made like $70. Yeah, it's not ethical at all.
Ew.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, are y'all serious?
Ew.
And my sister was like, yeah, we washed them out with water. I'm like, y'all are fucking disgusting.
Ew. What? Like, why couldn't they just go get like a $3 pack of water and then like make a profit?
We was broke back then, so I get it.
But still, you can mount $3 up to get a pack of 24 waters, and then
Well,
you sell them for how much? two
listen,
dollars a piece. You make $45.
they were selling for $1 a piece, and they were just getting empty water bottles out of the fucking trash and washing them.
Ugh.
Listen, once again, I wasn't there when it was happening, but I heard about it and I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Ugh.
Hey,
Anyway, when I was in that brown truck, there was this kid. So there was this neighborhood that was like
mm-hmm,
not even half finished. There was only a few houses finished, and there was construction like every day. They were putting up a new neighborhood or whatever. And it was during the summer, and this kid went out there every day, dude. It was awesome, and I would get something from him every day.
it was
He had a
awesome.
menu. He had like what types of chips you want, whatever, whatever. He had Gatorade, he
Mm-hmm.
had water, and his little business was called Shane's or whatever the fuck his name is. We're just gonna go with Shane, but Shane's hydration station.
Oof,
And I was like,
catchy.
man, this is a brilliant idea. And then he had like combos, like you could get like a drink,
And a bag of
a
chips.
chip, and like I think he may have hit his mom making him sandwiches. I'm not really sure, but like I'm like, dude, this is fucking genius. So like I bought like a Gatorade and a water off of him and a bag of chips.
Like every day.
Uh, every day that I was over there, because like
Yeah,
I'd
different
have a
rider.
different
Yeah,
fucking route every fucking day. They
that's
really
awesome.
they really took advantage of me over there. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I departed.
That's awesome. I remember in middle school where we called it the field day, where it's like all the kids for that day go out and fucking play. You have organized things, XYZ, all that jazz,
Yeah,
right?
we had field day, and you wore like a specific color, like you were on team red, white, or blue.
Yeah,
I don't know if you.
we used whatever random colors it was, right? And like uh
Patriotic South. You were
they
probably using Confederate fucking colors, weren't you?
no, we had like orange, green, and fucking like red, and I'm like, okay.
I'm not calling you racist, but I'm calling the South as a whole. They wanted the Confederacy, so that's what I'm saying. You're a
Oh,
Southerner.
oh, I get it. And so fucking like they would call the Kona ice truck and like if you want to buy ices and shit like that. But what I used to do is I used to spend however much little, money fucking middle school Lawson had, and he would go to like your.
Wait, this was in middle school? You did this in middle school?
We had them in, yeah.
What?
What do you mean what? Like the field day? Yeah, we had them in like,
Yeah.
yeah, middle school.
You what?
What do you mean
Ours were
what?
ours were in elementary school, and then like when you got in middle school or junior high, like you don't have recess. You don't have a field day.
Well, we had field
What's the
day in
yeah,
middle school, and we had I don't remember what it's called, but we had other shit in elementary school. But anyways, what I would do is
that's why you're fucking soft, dude. We got rid of our we could once I turned 12, we weren't allowed to play anymore.
we had to work,
We had to work and study.
and
That's
so
why.
that's my big brain.
Yeah,
Anyways,
going
so
playing,
so
picking fucking dandelions and shit. I thought you were gonna say, with me in junior high, I thought I could make some money. So, after they had their little icy pop and they had the little plastic, they threw them away, and I grabbed them out of the trash and filled them up with water, and then I put them in the
sold them.
freezer and resold
I
just water flavored icy pops and something someone sucked out of.
No, what I would do is I would roll up with like two coolers, and dude, I remember at like the local Walmart, they would have like those 12 packs of like Coke, Sprite, whatever. They'd sell them like fucking 3 for 12. Dude,
Yeah,
I'd fucking rack up on soda, candy, water, Gatorade, and I was making a fucking killing every field day. Just
yeah. Your
fucking
sister had to use used bottles. Gross,
yes.
gross.
But hey, listen, fucking, and once again, you always got your friends trying to bum off you, like, hey man, let me get it. And I'm like, no, hey dude, here, I give you half off, man. I give you half. Listen, if if it's $3 for a soda, I'll charge you $1, man. But I need this shit.
Dude, so you gave employee discounts?
Yeah,
Dude,
employee. Fucking, I was a one-man show. You get the friends and
good,
family
good. Well,
discount.
sorry, a friends and family discount?
Yeah, that shit was
Ugh,
hilarious.
man, I'm surprised you didn't, just take. I'm surprised you didn't take, the cans of soda, siphon the soda out, spit it into another like smaller glass, and be like,
Listen,
I don't know what you people down in Georgia are doing.
listen. I'm a little bit more ethical than that, man.
After that water bottle story, man, I don't even know if I want to ever step foot in the state of Georgia again.
Listen, dude, it wasn't me, so all I did was hear about it.
I've only been there for about 7 hours, so I spent one night in Atlanta,
For
and that
what,
was it.
layover?
No, actually, well, minus the airport. I was my senior spring break trip. We drove down to Daytona and we stayed in Atlanta
Mm.
to
Mm.
break up the driving.
It's fire.
So, and there was an Usher concert going on, and it was fucking packed downtown. And someone was like looking for like 2 tickets, and my buddy just put out his deuce out the window. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "That guy just gave me a peace sign." I go, "No, he didn't. He's looking for 2 tickets. You fucking moron. Put your hand back in the car."
Dude, I am notorious. If I'm riding around with my boys, they're like, all right, Lawson loses all window privileges because I just can't stop myself from just trying to talk and just talk shit to people. Not shit literal, but like just to say random shit just to throw them off. Like, what the fuck did he just car driving? What the fuck he just say? Just random. Listen,
What
sometimes
kind of used soda did he try to sell me?
one of my
Yeah,
one of my
you should have did for your boys, right? Like when they were like, "Hey, Lawson, hook me up, discount me, whatever." You should have cracked open the can, took a sip, and been like, "Here, now you can get it discounted because it's used."
because it's used. No, though, but one of my favorite things, like if we're at a red light and there's someone next to us, I'll roll my window down, get their attention for them to roll their windows down, and I'll roll mine up as they're rolling it down. 9 times out of 10, they bust out laughing. Some people don't think it's funny.
Dude, I'd egg your fucking car. Don't fucking talk to me. Don't fucking interrupt either my Boy Meets World podcast or my Destiny's Child jam that's on the or Spice Girls jam that's on the radio.
Dude,
Fuck, man.
some people genuinely like when they understand the joke, they just fucking die laughing because they're like, "What?" And so I'll roll my shit down after they roll theirs back up. Then they roll theirs down, I roll mine up, and then they'll start laughing because for the most part, it's a harmless little tee hee. And then some people they'll flip me off, and I'm like, "Oh, that's not nice."
Yeah. Until you cross the wrong motherfucker and you get shot in the face. Just kidding, man. I hope that doesn't happen to you.
I was gonna
That was a
say
little
I'm not.
that was a little
That was a little like too over the edge. It was
Yeah.
kind of
But
nuts.
it's like for real, man. You can't fuck with people like that.
Oh,
People
dude,
are real
fucking
fucking crazy.
dude.
Like my buddy, dude. We were cruising. We went to I think we went to like a college hockey game down in Detroit
Yeah.
one time, and like this motherfucker, dude, is rolling down the window and shooting Nerf arrows at people. And I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, they're little blue Nerf arrows, but I'm like,
Yeah.
you fucking around with the wrong person, dude. Like,
Dude,
especially in Detroit. Shit.
one of my buddies, he's
I know
got.
you're in the outskirts. I know you're in the fucking middle of nowhere, Georgia, but shit, dude, if you did that shit in Atlanta, man, I would be scared.
Oh, dude, fucking. One of my buddies got super bad road rage, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so we're driving to wherever, and and there's someone right on my buddy's ass. So what does my buddy do? Brake checks, and I'm like, oh, this is not gonna be good. And so bro starts riding his ass again. Brake checks him again. Fucking then he's always seeing the rear view mirror. They start fucking flipping each other off. Buddy comes and speeds next to us, and they're just yelling, talking shit back and forth. And then he gets in front of us. My buddy starts riding his ass. This goes on for like 10 minutes, and so fucking it gets to a point where you know, car's about to fucking pass us. My buddy starts doing a something very inappropriate that I will not do on the show. With a hand gesture and his
Two words
face.
for it.
Oh, worse, and I'll show you after the show. But fucking what made it even funnier is when car's right next to us. He says, "Hey Lawson, lean back." He has a water bottle in his fucking cup holder. I think he's going to unscrew the water bottle and sling water, going 60 miles an hour. No, just hucks the water bottle like he's throwing a fucking tomahawk at the car. And I look at him because I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind?
I know, man. What if so? See, like in Atlanta, I would think that Ti might be running, driving around with a 9 in his right hand and a 45 in his left,
Dude,
on his 20 foes.
dead ass. Like, I looked at him and I'm like, dude, are you out of your fucking mind?
You don't want to fuck with the rubber band man.
We better end up on crazy clips.
Hell yeah, dude. Is what's that World
World
Star or
Star,
whatever?
yeah.
That's still around?
Yeah, World Star's still around.
Yeah, man. You're gonna end up on there, dude.
Well,
You're gonna end up in a fucking Ti video. Like nothing good can happen.
but yeah, dude,
You know,
like,
there's a saying out there that after midnight, nothing good happens.
don't feed the
Right?
gremlins.
Yeah, don't feed the gremlins and don't fucking throw water bottles at people that may have,
Firearms.
yeah,
Well,
the rubber band, dude. Trap music. Ti first album.
Trap
Check it
music,
out.
yeah. But yeah, it was just like I looked at him and I'm like, dude, some people just don't fucking play. So what?
I know, man.
So why are you just hucking water bottles while we're going 70 down the highway?
Dude, so quick story. When we were in high school,
Yeah.
similar thing happened, but it was like we were in a giant Astro van. My buddy had a giant Astro van. We'd all fucking pile in there,
Mm.
and there was these chicks that were kind of like, driving fucking crazy. So we were throwing pennies at their car, and then
That's
they were
terrible.
behind us. So I
Pennies. You know
took
how much those pennies are worth now?
we had gone to talk